let's dig in, and maybe we start our discussion with more general topic to get down to the discussion, particularly on universities and how universities will change or have to change, or where they will going to change, and what will universities look like in the future. Maybe we should start with bigger megatrends, global trends. So how about you share your opinion? What are those global megatrends, not only in technologies, but maybe also in social aspects, in political aspects, that we will be facing maybe in the next 5 to 10 years? Ingmars, maybe you start. Since you're more closer to those global trends.
Well, I think one big issue right now here is the noise. So there's incredible noise of things going on, and it's kind of a white noise, and it's full of ideas, full of new technology, and everybody is getting nervous. And I think one of the big roles of universities here is to still, as it was like many hundreds of years ago, is actually to build in some system to get you navigate around this. Because of course there's this classical statement these days that all the knowledge gets old as you leave the university, and that might be true for some professional skills, but there are some systemic knowledge that you still have to actually, even whatever is going to happen with artificial intelligence or whatever other new hype technology, there still has to be some understanding as what you as a professional do and how do you manage all these new features. Therefore, we do not expect that all the education will happen through TikTok. That's probably still not going to happen. So and above all this noise, what we see from the commercial side is that there are still classical competencies of, I don't know, mechatronics or engineering. You still have to be able to make a fridge or a chair that actually stands. So these are still competencies that you have to be able to understand whatever new technology comes on top of that. From commercial perspective, of course, the other big thing, I think, which is there's a big demand, and this is going to be even more intense, is a demand for innovation and ability to commercialize whatever you have, your nice ideas that you might have. And probably in Europe in particular, we have to be careful about this, because probably the tradition of commercializing good ideas is not as strong in Europe as it should be these days. This is probably one of our areas where we have to do some extra training or extra fitness, right?
Okay. Talis, maybe from your perspective, Ingmars mentioned already megatrends like artificial intelligence or robotics. What else? What are the other megatrends that you believe would be influencing the way we learn, the way we educate ourselves?
I think we're already observing this, that formerly you used to go to university and then you graduate and then you get a job and maybe you never come back to education, or you might take some courses here and there. But I think what happens is that you have to prepare yourself, and universities are the major driver for that you need to be studying or become educated, but then you have to re-educate yourself again and again and again. And it is related to all technology cycles, which are very short now. So I think that's something we observed already, like lifelong education, which we have to be more and more involved. So it's something what we observe right now, and it become more and more prevalent in future. So, and as it was said, that you have different ways. You can use online education, etc. But then we have to offer our competitive advantages, which is campus life and ability to be in groups, working maybe on prototypes, something which is more hands-on. And this is something which I see as our competitive advantage to be part of the trend. Mm-hmm. So this is one. And I think the second is that in general, universities, they have to be more agile, not just for where you are teaching, but in general, as was mentioned about innovation, science. So we have to kind of forget about the ivory tower. We've been standing for centuries, and they have to kind of come down and become part of this very agile way now the world is operating.
Frank, something for you to add?
Certainly to piggyback on the idea of agility, I completely see that. I think that the relevance of universities in the long term will remain, though. In the end, it will be the hub of knowledge building and knowledge conveying. But essentially, I see three mega trends worth mentioning. One was already mentioned, the technological aspect, the impact that that's going to have on the future of work. AI, the future of work. A second is at the social level, something that we haven't actually spoken about yet. But if you look at the age distribution, the pyramids, the age pyramids in the various European countries, in the vast majority of them, it's an upside down pyramid. And what that means is that we have a part of the population, a large part of the population, the baby boomers, who are leaving the job market or have already left the job market. And if you look at the young generation that's now coming into the job market, the workforce, that's a much smaller population. Now, how do we compensate for the difference between this large part of the population that's leaving? And they're still going to be around for a while, at least for another 20 years. They're still going to be eating, they're still going to be traveling even more than they were before, and so forth and so on. And so in one way or another, that has to be compensated for, and that's coming our way. And we see it in various countries already now, that there's a deficit of manpower, a deficit of staff, of employees that you can hire. And then, of course, the third point, which is perhaps the first point, is the political situation. There is, an elephant in the room, the tensions surrounding democracy and the threat to it. And when we speak about democracy, we also speak about democracy of education.